If you are no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stop judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today, I am your host, Christine McIver, and we are going to be talking all about keeping you when you see you. So before we dive into tonight, though, a show that I'm super excited about, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. If this is the first time you're hearing about me, or maybe the 100th time, I hope that you receive it with the desire that I desire to deliver it. So I am a holographic coach. And what that really means is I work with you, whether it's from a personal issue or with business, relationships, with self-confidence, with, whatever it is that you feel stuck, or limited with, I work with you to step into your desires, to step into your hologram of your desires. I am sure many of you have seen a lot of the different sci-fi movies where there's a hologram, right? There's a holographic deck from, gosh, don't kill me, guys. Is it Star Wars or is it? Anyways, some of those different programs that are out there, and you literally create it, right? It's just like you put your desires in. It's Star Trek, thank you. And you put your desires in, and it creates it, and you step into it, and you live it. This is what working with me is about. We talk about your desires. We look at detail what it is that you desire to create, that you desire to experience, the adventures, the prosperity, the joy, the pleasure, everything you want to challenge yourself and stretch yourself into. We talk about that. And then we set out and we create a plan. So whether you are desiring very specific, or you're still even looking at what it is that will bring you joy, this is something when we work together, we can absolutely start to move down and get that into some kind of definition. I have a lot of tools. I've been in my own business for 10 years now. I've been working in this field of supporting, guiding, and cheerleading others for more than 30 years. And it's something that I know absolutely that when you have somebody that has your back and is willing to kick your ass when you need it, that's when you can propel forward. So have someone that has professional training. If you don't have someone that is willing to be mad at them and still stay present with you, I'd love to hear from you. Everyone that connects with me, they can have their first discovery session for 30 minutes, absolutely free, so we can see your connection. And what can we do to create the life that you know is absolutely possible? So please connect with me. You can send me an email, inspiredchoices.ca, or you can check out my website for everything that I offer. The address for that is inspiredchoices.ca, or you can join us here on inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You'll find a lot of my creations, well over 200 plus radio shows, and more to come. So thank you for listening to that. And I've got some specials that I'm promoting, and I'll talk a little bit later in the show because I really would like to dive in and go. So tonight, people see you when you see you. Do you desire to be seen, truly seen? Do you desire to grow your visibility in the world with lovers, with clients, connections, maybe with your family, maybe with employers, maybe with colleagues? If you said yes to any of these questions, it is time for you to see you greater than you've ever seen yourself before. I cannot wait for this conversation. I would love to hear you chime in. You can join us here in the chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Just look on the menu bar. Come on in. Use your real name or fake name. Either works. Or you can call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or you can Skype Inspired Choices Network. All right. So what does it mean to actually seen? So many people, especially business owners that I'm talking to, talk about, I need to get out there. I need to grow my list. People, I'm trying to get people to pay attention to me. I'm trying to get people to see what I'm doing. How many business owners are different social media tools and they're posting on different social media platforms, whether it's anything from LinkedIn to Tumblr to Facebook to Instagram and Twitter, a lot more out there depending on where you are in the world. But how many of us are posting? We've got our fingers crossed, our toes crossed, hoping that somebody will see what we're posting, that someone will actually choose us. The big word in there, what I said, the really big word that we've got attention to is the word hope. What does the word hope actually really bring up for you? What is it about hoping, actually not changing things in our world? A lot of us are hoping for something different. We're hoping to create something new. And really what we're doing is holding on to a dream or holding on to like a string, right? We're holding on by a string. So here's the etymology for hope. Hope is to have the theological virtue of hope, hope for salvation or mercy, trust in God, also to have trust, confidence, and assume confidently or trust. I love that. I really, really love that because that definition is actually such a clear definition that can create something different. But most of us, energy of hope as if there's lack there, right? As if there's lack in the world for what it is that we desire. And we are hoping and thinking, but what's underneath that is total worry and fear. But when we actually trust, when we trust in ourselves, when we trust in our knowing, things begin to change. One of the biggest things that I know is that when you are desiring greater and you're not getting the results that you are hoping for, it's time to look within. It's time to look what's going on in your world. What is it that you believe about you? And I say believe, not as in no, but what is it that you believe about you? Because at times your lack of belief, your lack in knowing the truth about you, that you are perpetuating out to the world. So when you don't believe in yourself to the degree that matches your capacities, and you are actually vibrating at this lack energy, so the belief that I'm not quite good enough, or you're seeing what other people are doing and you're attention more to them, and then it's triggering something in you. Have you ever done that? Have you ever been looking at someone online, if you're in your own business, or even if you're talking about personal relations, see what other people are creating? Do you ever go into, I'm not that, or I haven't created that, or what's wrong with me? The energy of it, just even if you haven't yet thought of the words, right? If that is triggering within you, you are not matching your truths with your belief system, all right? And when you are out of sync, with your capacities to your beliefs, guess what? You're hard to be seen. It's very difficult for people to see you, to recognize, to pick up on the true energy of you, because you are sending mixed signals to the world. You're sending mixed signals. So your transmitter and their receiver cannot match, because you've got these two conflicting realities perpetuated into the world. Does that make sense? So you've got the great big capacities. We all have these massive capacities, massive abilities, and you know you have them because you step into them every once in a while. Or somebody compliments you. Somebody says, you know what, you're amazing at this. A millisecond, you own it. For a millisecond, you're like, damn, I am on. And then the next second, you buy into that old belief system, that old crock of shit that keeps coming time and time again. And that lie, that old belief system that does not match your true amazing capacities, it's actually so denser because you've been playing that song, you've been playing that message in your head over and over again for so long that has a greater weight. It's much more weighted in your reality than your true capacities. And when it's that much more weighted, that is your energy that's going out, okay? So if you've got somebody that's receiving your energy, or even when you've seen somebody has put a post out and you read it, and right away you're like, I really don't get that. Like, it might be a beautiful picture. It might have all the right marketing. It could have all the right words. It could show up at the exact that you need it to show up. But then you're like, there's something not quite right. It's usually not the picture or the text. It's usually what's going on with the sender. Now, who's responsible? This is something I learned a long, long time ago. Who's responsible for the message and how the message lands? Is it the receiver or is it the sender? Who knows? Most people will say it's the receiver, right? You have an argument with somebody. Well, you said this. No. And then the sender says, well, you're interpreting it. No, you interpreted that wrong. Guess what? In business and in relationships, who owns the message is the sender. So if the message isn't landing, what we need to do is change how we send it, change the energy of it, change the words of it. We, the sender, are responsible for the message. So if someone is not seeing you, or if they're not picking up on what you are putting out into the world, you're responsible for that. You're totally responsible for that. Yes, 100%. There's algorithms in all these computer programs. Absolutely 100% do impact us, and that's a different conversation. But I'm telling you that if you look at how people are receiving your message online, and then you look at how people are receiving your message in person, I'll place money on it that you find similarities in how people receive you. It really starts with you. So if you're desiring, my friends, to be seen, it's time to some self-discovery. It's time to look within yourself and see what is actually motivating, triggering, or driving the messages that are being received. It's time for you to do some inner work. And you know what the really cool thing is? You don't have to do, $500 Facebook ads. You don't have to post your times. What you can do is begin to spend some time doing some reflection. Begin to spend some time in really checking in on what's going on with you. When we get back, I'm going to give you a couple more tips on what you can do if you feel like your message is not being received. If any of what I said is ringing true for you, I would love to hear from you. I'd love for you to join us in the chat room or even email me, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Here's the thing, is as we really start to look deeply at why am I not being seen, the really cool thing is when you're willing to be vulnerable with what you're putting out in the world, you can change it quickly and with a lot more ease than you can possibly imagine. Okay, we are up to our first break of the show. we're going to come back. We're going to continue to dive into all of this. We're going to start to really have you be seen in your world. You are listening to Inspired Choices Radio with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. We're talking about people see you when you see you. We will be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page, Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Well, so much for being here tonight, my friends. We are talking all about people seeing you when you see you. And before we went to break, we were talking about the energies that we are putting out, which are really about our belief systems. So let me ask this one question and really check in on what's true for you. So do you truly desire to be seen? Wow, there are a lot of people that truly do not desire to be seen. Now that you may be saying, like I've said in the past when people have asked me those questions, bullshit, certainly do. However, there may be some underlying beliefs, some old energies that are kind of playing under the surface of it because of past experiences. So for instance, let me give you an example. If you're someone that felt targeted in school, let's say you're a youngster, and when you were a youngster and you were in grade school, wow, using the word youngster sounds really old. Sorry. I'm just checking my own self. If you're when you were young and you were in grade school or even in high school, if you were someone that was targeted with unkind words or you were, you felt like you were being bullied, okay, you may desire to not be seen. You may have thought, oh my God, have you ever do you remember walking down the hall going, oh my God, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me. Hoping to God that the kids that make fun of other people didn't see you, you weren't the butt of their next joke. Well, guess what? When you have asked for that and you step into that energy, you may actually still be running that desire. So if you got, oh my God, no, I don't want to be seen, just check into it. Has there ever been a time in life that I desired not to be seen? And if you get a yes, you don't have to go into the when and the why and all that crap. You can just say, okay, I'm going to stop that now. And you literally just say, enough. That's the old me. That's no true for me. And what you do is you make the demand that that program ends immediately. All right? So that's one of the very first things that we want to do is we want to check on, is there something old in there that may be running? All right. The next thing is that you really, why do I desire to be seen? What does it mean to me to be seen? And what will I create when I am seen? Start asking yourself those questions, because underneath the answer to those questions, you may find that there are, again, some limiting beliefs, some old fears, some old worries about being seen, that you immediately just do the exact same exercise and go, okay, that's no longer true for me. That's the old me. That's done. That's over. And you just make the claim. You don't need anything fancy to change it. You just make the claim, no, that's not true for me. All right? Your energy, your choice drives your entire life. All right? You need no other fancy tools to change it. Okay. We have a question in the chat room from Keisha. She says she's curious. Our choosing to change how we send and deliver our messages does not necessarily mean we have control over the receiver's response to our message. You're absolutely correct on that, Keisha. You do not have control over someone receives something. But if there is something missing, all right, if there is something that they don't quite get, all right, let's pretend I send you, I say something to you, Keisha, and you get upset, okay? And you say, you know what I mean? I don't think that's right. I don't agree with what you're saying. And I can feel that defensive energy. The very first thing I want to do, and all of us should do, is check on, okay, was there something in delivery that had judgment or had attitude or had superiority? Just check on that first, all right? If you get a yes, okay, just check yourself and say, okay, let that go. If you get a no, don't bring your ego into it. Don't allow your ego to go into defense. When you are going into defense, you're putting up a wall, and that right away will begin separation with your message between you, the sender, and that person, the receiver. Okay. And when you start to put up walls, my friends, how much can you actually be the truth of you, the essence of you, the real heart of you? When you are putting that up, how can you possibly be seen, truly be seen? So if you keep your ego out of it, drop your barriers, and I would then say to Keisha, let me see if I can say it in a different way. Help me. How do you learn? One of the things that I would say to Keisha. And check on that. Is that something she can receive? Okay? Just say, how could I, let me see if I can say that in a different way. And then you to deliver that in a different way without your ego, really looking at how can I deliver this so she can hear this, right? Truthfully, we don't have communication problems. We have ego problems with our communication. We don't have communication problems. We have ego problems with our communication. It's usually your ego that has you communicating in a way that has other people put up defensive walls or you to put up defensive walls. So when you are desiring to be clear, when you're desiring to be clear with others, that's great. But the first thing you want to be is you want to be totally and 100% clear with you. That leads me back to the Tonight Show. People see you when you see you. So tell me something, my friend. Truthfully, do you know how brilliant you are? Do you honestly acknowledge your capacities? Do you ever find yourself pushing away compliments from other people? Do you find yourself focusing more on the things that are shortcomings of yours, where you're still learning to grow? Do you find yourself focusing past choices or mistakes, quote unquote, mistakes that you have made? Do you find yourself there? If you are focusing there, if that's where your eyes are looking, that's where your energy is, right? What you focus on expands, even if you don't say a word to anyone. You are vibrating that level. And that, my friends, is what people will be receiving. So if you're someone who is judging yourself, a girl, if you're someone who is imagining, and I'm going to stay on the business feed thread, but this can be for anything. This can be for parenting. This can be for your career. This can be for your relationships, whatever the case may be. But if you're someone that is focusing on all the things you not create in business, and you're judging yourself for not doing enough, not being enough, and that's the energy, that's where you're focusing. You're focusing on your fears and your worries of the future. That's what you're going to be putting out. And who out there would work with someone, would want to hire someone that is putting out the energy of, I'm not good enough? They don't. So they actually avoid you. They actually avoid reading any promotion. They avoid going to your website. They completely don't even see it. It may be in their social media feed. They hear you at an event speaking, but they're not listening. They're not listening because the energy that you are putting out is not one of beliefs about the truth of you. So my friends, tell me something. Do you see the brilliance, the capacity, the amazingness that you are? Now, a lot of people, I know definitely in the past, I've had people say this to me, all well-loving people, especially many of us growing up, have been told, don't be arrogant. Don't be boastful. Think you're better than someone else. You're going to get hurt if you do that, right? A lot of that same type of stuff is drilled into our heads, so we turn down our capacities. We turn down acknowledging our capacities. If you're turning down acknowledging your capacities and you're not willing to see the brilliance of you, and you're turning up worry and judgment and lack, how in the world can anyone see you? The truth of who you are. You know, it's interesting to me that when someone often passes away, when someone dies, even if that person made some really interesting, quote-unquote, bad choices in their life, the people at the funeral, the people at the wakes, they will talk about the brilliance of you. They'll bring you flowers. They will reminisce about stories where it was, quote-unquote, good. My challenge to you is see the good in someone else. Bring them flowers now and see the good in you. See the amazingness in you. See the brilliance of you. And bring the joy into your life now. Wait until you're ready to leave this planet or leave this body. Bring it forward right here, right now. Because when you do, you will start to change the world. You will change your own world, And you will change those around. Because when you're ready to step up and say, you know what, I'm pretty damn good at this. In fact, I'm great at this. And I'm ready to claim it. I'm ready to own it. I'm ready to stand up proud and say, this is who I am, and this is my brilliant capacities. Not from the end of arrogance and boastfulness, but from that space of ownership. And oh my God, when you do that, people around you will be like, wow, that's amazing. And then when you're doing that, you become the invitation others to also step into owning their brilliance and capacity. So we're going to go to our second break, but before we do, I want to invite you into answering this question. Are you ready to step in and claim the brilliance that you truly are? Are you willing to change your world and own this in a way that you have known this before? I want you to sit with that. I want you to ask yourself those questions while we go to break and truly be willing to be vulnerable with yourself. You're listening to Christine McIver here on the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, thank you so much for sticking around tonight, my friends. We are talking tonight all about being seen and seeing yourself. Now, before we jump back into the show, I want to tell you about a couple of things that I've got, that I created, that a few specials that I've got going on, and something that really contribute to, if this is something you're desiring more of, to be seen, these things can do that for you if you choose them. So right now I have a 10-year anniversary special on, and it is called the P Holographic Coaching. And in this coaching package, you are to receive 7 one-hour sessions with me for only $150 Canadian. Now, if you're from any other country, that's a hell of a deal. But if you're from Canada, that's still a hell of a deal. That is a savings of just over $1,000 for those 7 sessions. Now, we can dive into whatever area that you require. If you are looking to dive parenting, we're going to talk all about what's been going on and where you desire to be, and then we're going to set a plan for how you're going to get there. If you're at building self-confidence, if you are looking at changing being seen, if you are looking at creating your business in a new way and really soaring with your capacities, with creations, we can do that. We can do this in one VIP day of 7 hours, or we can break that up into 2 or even 1 hour sessions. Completely your choice. But my friends, we're going to change things, and we're going to change things fast. There's only 20 of those spots available. Once those 20 spots are gone, it's over. It's going back to full price. And I'm telling you, the people are choosing them. So if this is something that is popping for you, be sure to connect with me at inspiredchoices.ca to take advantage of that special. The people that I'm working with right now are just loving it. We are really having a lot of fun changing it. Now, the other promotion that I want to tell you about, the other item that I've created is something called Doubt Out. Now, I know personally, when I am struggling, when I am really in that space of not knowing which direction to go in, oftentimes doubt can be a driving force with what is going on with me. And this Bust the Doubt Out, the 3 sessions, 3 telecalls package that you can get immediately, and you can listen to those in one sitting or 3 different sittings, whatever your choice. But I'm telling you, the changes that have occurred both since that call have been absolutely amazing. You can get those again, go to my website, inspiredchoices.ca, and go into the store, and you will find them there, or right on the menu bar, you'll see Bust Out. So those are just a couple of things that are there for you. And, if you have any questions, if those ones don't pop for you and you're looking for something else, contact me. Who knows what we can create together. You are listening to this show in the replay. You can just scroll down posting and you will see all of those specials right there. So, all right, let's get back to talk about being seen. So what can you be or do seen? What are you willing to be or do to be seen? My very first thought is, are you willing to change what you've been doing? All you need is the willingness to begin to change things. All right, my friends? That absolutely starts the process of changing something, because you're putting your desire out there, right? So your willingness has you start to be present and very conscious of your desires. So willingness is number. The second thing is, are you willing to get uncomfortable? Are you willing to break open your old patterns, your old beliefs, your old doing things? Are you ready to get to the good stuff of who you truly are? Getting uncomfortable is absolutely a major ingredient of changing anything you desire. If you're not willing to get uncomfortable, you're not going to change. Now, here's the thing. Here's the crazy statistic. I've said this 1,000 times. I keep on saying it. 80% of human beings not change until they are in such terrible, dire straits. They're super uncomfortable. Things are miserable. They're broke. They're hungry. They're just at the depths of pain. 80%. My friends, you don't have to be there. You don't have to get that super uncomfortable. You have to blow up your world before you choose something different. But you've got to be willing to change it. You've got to be willing to get uncomfortable. And you've got to be willing to really know who you are and the brilliance of you. Here is an exercise that I give to many, many, many of my clients. Take out a Bristol board, a large piece of paper, really big, okay? I have an 8.5 by 11. I mean a large piece of Bristol board, or maybe you've got a great board. And then what you want to do is you want to start gathering all of those places and spaces in your life, past or present, where you have been brilliant, where you've been exceptional, right? Write down, I'm amazing at this. When I did, I knocked it out of the park. I felt so phenomenal with those this, right? This is completely and totally about you. This is your bragging board. Your bragging board, you want to have it in front of you wherever you are most in your home, all right? And you want to often. You want to tell that negative part of your brain, no, that's not true. Look at all the amazingness that I have created. So let me give you an example. These are some of the things that are on my board, all right? I raised 2 children mostly on my, and they are amazing beings in the world. Have built my own home that was absolutely fantastic. I have been in my own business now for 10 years. I have busted all of those myths about what happens at your own business. I believe in me, and I choose me every day, even in the tough days. I have created a network, a media net, a girl who never knew anything about media. I didn't stop. I'm resilient. I'm determined. I have my own back every single day. I really like who I am. And when something comes up that's uncomfortable, something that really starts to feel like it's ripping me apart, I am willing to dig deep. I am willing to dive deep into whatever that is so I can move beyond that. So I am willing to continue to do self-development. Nobody is more important in my world than me. Because without me being my best, I can't bring my best to the table to play with other people. I am pretty funny. I am a radio show host. I'm a TV show host. I am pretty friggin' awesome. And I absolutely love me. Now, when you have a bragging board and you read that again and again, especially on days that are tough, you will show up and you will see you. And when you come to the table, whether you're talking to somebody in person or you're talking to them online, whether you're a host or you're creating an event, whatever you're doing, you're at a bar and you're meeting new possible lovers, or you're speaking to your kids who are feeling really like, oh, mom, yuck, or that they don't have the self-confidence, you will show up and you will be present and you will own who you are. And when you have that energy, do you see you? Absolutely, you see you. And when you see you, my friends, other people will begin to see you. You will be changing the energy of all of your creations. Self-doubt is one of the poisons that we swallow. We have got to change this. If you have a desire to change the world, you have got to be willing to dive deep into any area that you have doubt in, because your doubt actually is louder than your brilliance. We need you to change the world. We need you to show up. We need you to own your brilliance, your capacities, your love. We need you to own that, because the world is asking for your contributions. And the people around you, actually your loved ones, especially your children, they're watching you. And when you own it, oh my gosh, you give them permission to own theirs as well. All right, we're up to our final break of the show. Wow, these shows go fast. You are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. And I'll be right after this short commercial break. Thanks for sticking around, my friends.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for joining tonight. We're talking about you when you see you. So here's my question to you. Are you willing to truly see you? Are you willing to own the brilliance that you are? And are you willing for others to see you? Many, many myths are not. I was talking to a number of people over the last couple of weeks, and these are people that are pretty big players in the world, in their business world. And I've actually asked them, are you willing to be famous? And I did not have one person out of the gate that said, yeah, they were willing to be famous. They were willing to have the idea that they would be famous and what would come along with that, all the prosperity that would follow. But when we really got down to brass tactics and I asked them, are you willing to be famous? Most people said no, because of, and they all had different ones, but it's because of the beliefs that they have bought into, or anyone that they're observing that's been famous, that's created for people that they know and love, or any kind of old wives' tales around what it means, right? And so if you're not willing to be famous, how can you be seen, right? And you know what, guys? Famous, quote, famous, has its definition according to each individual. So to Justin Bieber's mom, famous means Justin Bieber, right? Her son, and how big he is in the world. To somebody local in a small city, maybe being the mayor, and that person is famous in that city. Perhaps it's being famous in your family. Perhaps it's being famous in your industry. It's being famous just with those that you love. All right? So you've got to check on the word around famous and what that actually means. So being willing to be famous, you may be famous to someone out there that you have no idea about, right? And the more that you're willing to be famous, the more that you're willing to be seen and really own your capacities, and more people will begin to see you. But like I have said throughout the entire show, it's with you. Everything really does start with you. You are the beginning point from which everything unravels, unfolds. Everything that you have desired has come initially from you. All right? Everything you've ever created comes from you. So much into you, again, is, are you willing to truly be seen? Are you willing to acknowledge your capacities? If you're someone that this is really triggering you and this is really bringing up a lot of like, oh my God, just your willingness. You don't have to do anything to gate, okay? It's just to have the willingness to start looking at this, the willingness to change, that will begin to unlock any you have locked yourself up in these lack and lies. Lack and lies are there usually because of something we've bought from someone else. It could be from, the media. It could be from our community. It could be from a teacher that said something when you were in grade school, plays deeply in your mind. You don't have to know where these came from at all. Don't spend so much time digging in the past. Just go, there is something there, cool, and look at it and go, you know what? That is no longer true. I am no longer going to buy that. Make that claim and own it and watch how things start to change. One of the biggest things that I know when you're doing any kind of self-development work, got to get present. You've got to be incredibly present with who you are and what is going on. And sometimes it can be overloading. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. One of the best things you can do, my friends, is a coach. Someone who's willing to put their arms around you and be your cheerleader, is kick your ass. Someone who's willing to tell you the truth. There is a ton of amazing coaches out there. Find one that works for you. I know I'm a brilliant coach because I continue to dive deep with my own work and I continue to dive deep with my kids. And if you would like to dive deep, if you would like to change something that is absolutely not working in your world, connect with me. Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Thank you, friends, for being here. Come back week for another powerful show. And until next time, remember, you can always make a choice. Bye for now, my friends.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.